dear friends and net aspirants, welcome back to our channel High Point, a best place to get contents related to NTA, UGC, NET, JRF, English language and literatures. Today we are going to learn about yet another concept related to cultural studies, which is known as the circuit of culture. So what is known as circuit of culture and what are the elements of this circuit of culture? So that's about that we are going to learn. And in the previous video we have already seen methods and methodologies are involved in cultural studies. How we can conduct a cultural study about some cultural artifact or things related to culture. Okay. Before beginning the video, let me remind you about the website that we have, www.highpoint.in, where you will get sufficient amount of simplified, well arranged and comprehensible study materials in the form of audio lectures, especially cultural studies. Whatever we have given here and more than that, we are provided there in my website. We have divided the NTA, UGC, NET, JRF syllabus, which is indicative in nature, into various topics, modules and subtopics as well as chapters. And if you are interested after seeing the audio lectures and PDF notes and also practice and previous set of question papers, if you are interested, you can join us and you can have the 15% off what we have provided there for now. Join us early and have the bonuses too, such as weekly tests and also personalized study guidelines according to your schedules and your preferences of topic in order you to be consistent in your studies. Okay guys, so let's move on to the main video. And also let me remind you about my Instagram page, where I'm sharing lot of free study materials in the form of short videos, carousels, reels, study cards and many more things we are arranging there, going to arrange there soon or later. So if you are also present in Instagram, don't forget to follow me in this ID, and yeah, we can have a chat there too if you want to know about NTA, UGC, NET, JRF, English language and literature. And I have also a WhatsApp group in which I'm sharing quiz questions and news and updates related to English language and literature, NTA, UGC, NET language and literature, along with some study materials too. So you can go to the description box and click the link on join, or if not, you can message me here in this number given. I'll share the link and you can join. If you want to know more about the course details, then don't forget to ask me through this number given here. Let's move on to the main details related to the circuit of culture. So this is a concept put forwarded by a cultural theoretician known as Paul Duguay. Remember that point first, okay? So the circuit of culture, that term and that thing, that particular concept was put forwarded by Paul Duguay in 1997. And he says that in order to analyze any cultural artifact, whether it is a text, whether it is something, an ideology, a particular object or event, so whatever be that cultural artifact, in order to analyze that cultural artifact, we require a close examination of 5 basic elements which are associated to this particular artifact. So if you want to analyze a particular artifact like food habit, like a delicacy, local delicacy, or a dressing style, or a particular event happening, a particular custom, a text, a music, or something written, a general practice of the society, any such cultural object, event or ideology that is there in a society, if you want to analyze this, any of this cultural artifact, it actually requires a close examination of 5 basic elements, which is known as circuit of culture. And these basic 5 elements are related to that particular cultural artifact, in which we will ask many questions and we will seek for answers. And first of all, let's see which are these 5 basic elements. So here I have given them. Representation is the first one, identity, production, consumption, regulation. So these 5 elements we will study. So according to these, in relation to these 5 elements, a cultural artifact will studied, analyzed, and we will arrive at answers. Okay, in that way we will analyze the cultural artifact. So this idea or this concept of the circuit of culture was put forwarded by Paul Duguay in 1997. Okay, Next, the elements work in tandem. Tandem means one after another. So first we will look at representation, then we will look at ideology, then we will look at production, then consumption and regulation. So in that way, in tandem, these elements work together and they are linked to each other. It's not a representation, is something else, and it is not related to identity and the production and the consumption and the regulation. So they relate to each other. They are linked to each other and they work in tandem. Other in a process known as articulation. So they working together, tandem, and they are linked to each other in a process known as articulation. Articulation means meaning production. How this cultural artifact got its meaning and relevance or irrelevance. So whatever meanings are there in and around that particular cultural artifact. So in order to know about that, this whole 5 things which are there in the circuit of culture is interrelated, they are linked and they work in tandem together. And every cultural artifact must go through this process to carry, mask or gloss a particular meaning or ideology. So if a particular artifact is there, cultural artifact is there in a legitimate position or in an illegitimate position, whatever meaning it carries or mask, whether it is masking an ideology, whether it is carrying an ideology, whether it is glossing an ideology. So whatever they are doing, that cultural artifact is doing in a society, the cultural artifact must go through all these 5 elements. It should have a representation, it should have an identity, it should be produced by, in a way, and it should be consumed by the people, and some regulations must be there for that cultural artifact to exist. So in that way, the cultural artifact must go through all these 5 processes, okay, in order to carry, mask or gloss any particular meaning or ideology. Okay, now let's one by one let's see elements of circuit of culture. First one is representation. Let's take the example of television. Television is a commonly known cultural artifact or an object that we could find in more or less every other households now. And representation, so we can take the example of the object of television and we can ask certain questions. Okay, we can ask questions about the representation of television, such as what does it represent, what does television do, and how it is representing something, and basically what is the representation of television. So television generally represent communication. It actually communicates some idea to the people, and information and entertainment. So basically this is what television represents. It is a mass communication medium. Okay, so television represents this. So we will ask, take any other example or take any other object or cultural object that we can find around us, and you can ask the same question. See, take your dressing style. You can ask the same question, maybe not the exact same question, but you can ask questions related to the representation of that particular dressing style. So if you are dressing in a particular way, what kind of representation it brings to you? What is the representation of this particular dress, and how it is representing that particular ideology? So in that way, you should ask about the questions related to representation of that particular object or event or whatever cultural artifact that you are referring, and you have to try some answers. You have to find out some answers for these questions after analyzing. Okay, the next one is identity. Here also there will be so many things, so many questions related to identity. What kind of identity a TV projects? So what is the identity that a TV projects to the people who are watching it, and what is the difference between state television channel and programs or other channels? So there are so many private channels are there. There are Star TV is there, Asianet is there. So and also many private non-private or government owned television channels are there. So there are so many differences, right, between these channels, and what are the differences and what are the identity of these channels, government television channels or programs and other channels. Okay, next, what are the targeted audience of this ad? So there will be ads, advertisements in the channel, in the TV. So what are the and who are the targeted audience of these ads? Is there youth plays a great role in maintaining the identity of TV, and what is the identity of the people who appears in a TV? So whoever is there, whoever we can see in a TV program, what is their identity, how they are got recognized among the common people. Okay. And another questions that we can ask is does any kind of people get an equal chances to appear in a TV? So every other kind of people from every other strata of the society, do they get equal chances to appear in a TV? What kind of national identity is propagated in TV? So what is the national image of man and woman, or what is the national image of Indians are portrayed in the TV? As well as we are Indians, so we can ask that question. So what kind of national identity or Indian identity is propagated and portrayed in the TV? What about Northeast India and Dalits? So when they portray in a program, and when they portray an Indian identity, whether they portray Northeast people, whether they portray Dalit people or low caste people or Muslim people. So think about the national identity that they are propagated in TV. So all these questions are about the identities are linked to images on screen. So whatever we are seeing on the screen, and we will ask questions about the identity of that images that we can that we can see on the screen. So cultural studies is interested in the ideologies that underlines this identity projection. So while some identities are projected through this mass medium known as TV, while others got suppressed or other identities got silenced, or there won't be any representations for these kind of suppressed identities on the TV, that you have to watch it carefully. Okay, so cultural studies interested about this kind of identity projections and the ideologies underlies behind these identity projections through cultural artifacts. Okay, next element we have in the circuit of culture is production. So let's take the example of television itself, that what are the policies of TV manufacturers. Now TV is a product that need to be manufactured, produced, right? So not only TV as an object, but the programs that is going on on the screen of the TV, right? So what are the policy whoever is manufacturing this TV, the company, and how they are making profits, how these TV companies are making profits, and how the programs that is going on the TV, how they are made and how they make profits, and what are the ways in which they are selecting people for their programs, as well as a manufacturing company, how they are making their recruitments, and whether their project carries democratic policies, or whether their TV programs contain democratic policies, whether they are producing and projecting democratic values, and does the company cater to an Indian value specifically? So whether they are creating advertisements about their TV product that will specifically targeting Indian society and Indian people, and whether this company is purely an Indian company or whether it is a foreign company which has a plant in here in order to produce TV. So in that way you can ask enormous amount of questions related to TV and TV program productions. Okay, so and not only asking question is sufficient, but asking question is the first step. Then you have to collect data about these questions in order to sufficiently solve these questions and arrive at conclusions. Then you have to use some sort of methodology, like you have to have a political standpoint after getting all this data about the questions. You have to analyze the data and arrive at a conclusion. So that we have already seen in the previous video, which was about methods and methodologies. Okay, the next element in the circuit is that the consumption. So after production, the things will get consumed by the people. So who are the major buyers of the TV? So after producing a TV, someone needs to buy them, or people needs to buy them. So who are going to buy this TV, and why people are interested in buying a particular model? See, they will upgrade, so whoever with the manufacturers, they will upgrade their models, their products, right, their model of their products. So why people are interested, even though the same channels they can watch in the TV, older TV, why they are particular enough, or why they are interested in buying a particular model, a particular company's model, especially, and do people are enthusiastic about upgrading their model, and why. And here another thing is also introduced, like who can actually afford to buy this TV. Can everybody buy every other kind of model? No. How this economy is playing a major role in buying TV. Okay, so all these things are related to the element of consumption that is there in the circuit. Next, and the last one is regulation. So what does the government do with regard to either production and consumption, such as ban or permission? So not only about the production of TV, but also the TV programs. How government is regulating, or government is looking at this TV productions or TV program productions, such as they got the sometimes they will ban something, they won't allow, they won't give permission to display or broadcast some ideologies, or broadcast some program that actually propagate some ideologies, or they will ban certain programs, certain cultural artifacts. See, take the example of certain books, they got banned because of some reasons, because they provide some sort of ideologies. And what are the roles of censor board? So in India we have censor board and information and broadcasting ministry. What are their role in TV sales, production, and programs that are going on TV? So in that way you can analyze many more things related to cultural artifacts and cultural elements. So that is known as circuit of culture. The circuit includes 5 elements such as representation, ideology, production, consumption, and regulation. So all the cultural artifacts and elements must go through these 5 elements in order to carry, gloss, or mask any kind of meanings or ideologies. So if you want to study that artifact present there in a society or in a culture, you also have to analyze that cultural artifact using these 3 elements. So that is the sum total of circuit of culture. And as the circuit of culture covers a range of issues and themes, it studies cultural artifacts thoroughly. And other than circuit of culture, there are other components and modes of analysis. So a cultural artifact or element of a culture not only can analyzed and studied using circuit of culture, but we can use other components too. Generally, most of the academics adopt certain key areas and methods to understand the modes of meaning production. That means modes of meaning production related to a cultural artifact. Generally in academic sphere, certain academic sphere, they adopt some certain key points, key areas, and they keep certain methods to do understand this cultural artifact, the meaning, and also their meaning production. So which are they? And this will guide you in your cultural studies research. Okay, so the key areas may be these 7: language, discourse, identity, everyday life, ethnography, media studies, reception or audience studies, or cultural intermediaries. So one by one we will learn all these 5 things in our coming up videos. One by one we will learn all about them. So these are the major crust areas that certain academic sphere we can find whenever we approach cultural studies. Okay, so I think that's the end of this video lecture. I hope this was clear to you. The idea of circuit of culture is clear to you, and it is important that you understand the circuit of culture if you want to have a study in cultural studies, because circuit of culture thoroughly analyze a cultural artifact or an element or a custom in a cultural scenario. So don't forget to visit me in my website, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram, because I am sharing lot of free materials there. If you are interested, you make sure you are following me. And also if you want to join the WhatsApp group that I have mentioned earlier, go to the description box and click the link and also join it, or if not, you can message me in this given number, not only to know about WhatsApp group and have the link and join, but also if you want to know more about the materials and study materials and facilities that we are providing there in our website, and also about the bonuses, weekly test and personalized study guidelines. And if you have not yet subscribed me in here in my YouTube channel, don't miss the chance of having the whole literary series related to cultural studies, as well as literary theory and criticism that we have just started along with the cultural studies series. So I don't want you to miss any of this. So subscribe to the channel and as well as press the bell icon to get a notification then and there whenever we are posting a video in our channel. So that's all about it. Meet you in the next video session. Until then, keep loving literature and keep tuned to our channel, as well as aspire for more in your life, guys, and dream big and also work towards your goal, guys. Thank you. Meet you in the next video session. Bye bye.